What a magnificent day. It's a nice change. It's been quite cold the last week or so while we've been filming, but today we're in Thirroul, which is a beautiful little, what used to be a industry like coal and steel miners village has now turned into a really high profile, beautiful beach location. And we're here to see Nat from Turnberry Builds. He's been one of our clients for a couple of years, and he's just doing a really intricate little pool house down the road here. We're going to go and see him, but I'm also quite curious, knowing Nat like we do, I know he's had some other real significant challenges within his business, so we're going to learn a little bit more about that and how he's handling those things. So let's go see this build. Well, we are in Illawarra. This is the final leg of this, what's been an epic little journey. The whole point of it is to hear the stories behind the build, and I'm here with Nat from Turnberry Builds.
Yeah, Turnberry Builds.
Yeah, Turnberry Builds. And we're looking at this almost completed, well it was completed, had a few hiccups, we'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah.
Pool house, not just any pool house. This is quite stunning. I know the architectural detail when I was looking back over the plans on this was pretty intense, the sort of thing you'd expect for a multi-million-dollar home.
Yeah, it was a really great project because it was pretty seamless in progress, but also the quality was something to be proud of. We could sink our teeth into something that was quite detailed and sometimes a bit of a head scratcher. So.
Yeah. Well, it's gorgeous. You got the features like recycled hardwood door frames.
Yes.
I love the cladding is like barn board cypress.
Yep.
Big, heavy, chunky.
Yep.
It just looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And it fits with the area because this street, it's a bit of an older neighbourhood, like pre-war, some pre-war homes.
Yeah.
Weatherboard homes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like good design is just so. You can feel it when you walk into a space that's been designed well.
Yeah.
You just feel it, right? A lot of people sort of go, it's over-designed or it's over-considered, but when it's done right and you get a good working relationship with the architect, like it sounds like you did, man, it makes a difference because this is a beautiful space. One of the things I've been learning on this trip is, everybody's at a different stage of their journey.
Yeah.
Some of the clients have just sort of found exactly the right sort of niche for themselves, and they've got this sweet spot and it's just running, and they're like, I'll only do it this way, or no, this is it, this is us now. Where are you in that journey with your career? Yeah,
I think we were definitely on the cusp of that, hitting that sweet spot. We had quite a bit of, or what felt like quite a bit of momentum, I guess, at the beginning of this project. I had a lot of inquiries, and I just felt like, all the stars were aligning. So the backstory is a couple of years ago, back when I pretty much started the company, my wife had a colleague that she needed some work done to her house, so they just kind of bought the house, and then I was going in to give them a quote. I gave them a ballpark of about 200 grand because that was pretty much their budget, and I said, let's just sign a cost plus contract, which is pretty much you're working on an hourly basis. And so I did that, kind of keeping in mind that they would, there's no guarantee that everything will be done on their list of things that they wanted.
Right.
Just because at that point, the COVID was well and truly over, and those costs that had increased so much weren't coming down. So we ended up starting the job, they signed the contract and everything, and one thing that I didn't do was take out home warranty insurance, and that was purely for the fact they were friends, they were mates. I wanted to try and take every single dollar of that 200 grand budget for their product, maximize their product
for them.
That's right. It was I wasn't thinking about myself at all at that
try
point.
And help them out.
That's
give
right.
them the best value.
Exactly
possible.
right.
You're caring.
Yeah. So anyway, fast forward 6 months. It's at practical completion. We finished everything, and at this point, we were like over there at a place for weekends. We were watching World Cup finals. Our kids were hanging out. They were the same age.
Oh, no.
You know, my wife and the client, they were essentially mates. You know, they'd have drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
And at this point as well, she had been promoted to.
Your wife had been.
No. Her colleague had been promoted, so she's now my wife's boss. So that little bit complicated, bit of a power dynamic. There were some issues that I mentioned before we built that, things that we couldn't do. There was an existing roof that was like a bit of a DIY lean-to that I would have liked to have changed the pitch of because it was quite flat.
Right.
We just didn't have it in the budget to change the roof. And so they were working with a less than 1 degree pitch on this clip lock roof, and it was old and it had a dip in it and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, this is something you guys need to address, but I can't do it for you. There was a particular defect with this big 5 meter stacker door. Long story short, there was leaking issues in that same spot. So over the course, and saying all this as well, I also didn't charge a large margin by any means. I charged a margin that would probably barely cover my overheads.
Sure.
And I reduced my hourly rate too. So I was charging them very kindly. I was being way too generous.
Right.
There was this particular defect that kept happening. So eventually, you know, I'm going to say probably another 6 to 8 months occurred, and we're still trying to figure out where this leak's coming from and all sorts. And then we went through, fixed the defect. I think by that stage, their patience was wearing thin. And I think what they didn't understand is that I had to be on other jobs making money, trying to keep my business afloat. Eventually, they got an independent defect guy come through and they got a report. We went through the whole report. We fixed absolutely everything on that list. And then I think they got a downpour of rain like a week or two after we finished everything. And
the existing roof failed.
Yeah, the existing roof, and I still stand by it today, and I've got it documented. The dip in the roof, that I think it was getting worse because their underpinning wasn't satisfactory, the existing underpinnings. It got to the stage where she's like, you need to fix this, and I said, look, I'm happy to work with you, please don't fight me on this, we want to try and work this out. And then I came to the conclusion, I don't think this is us, I think this is pre-existing. And then she continued to threaten me to take me to NCAT and all sorts.
Right.
And I said, there's nothing I can do. Because in the back of my mind, I thought, you know, even if I did replace their roof, something else could pop up and she could just hold me to fix that when it wasn't our. So it was just, I was stuck in between a hard place and a rock, and she notified the building commission, and then they looked through all the documentation and they actually saw that I actually did take out insurance, but the insurance didn't line up with the contract date. So I took out retrospective insurance. And I didn't know the process because I'd never been through it, but I didn't realize that there's a process if you take out retrospective insurance.
Right.
So to avoid any complication, I just changed the date on the contract to suit the insurance, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so the contract was deemed fraudulent by the building commission. And instead of giving me a show of cause or anything, they suspended my license straight away.
Bang.
And then I'm hit, so suspended until they come up with a penalty, and in that time I can appeal it. So I wrote a document saying, I guess, showing my intent and all that kind of stuff, and they were like, no, here's 5 years cancellation for company. Individual builder's license cancelled for 4 years. So, and then as soon as in that whole process as well, I seek legal advice, and then I go ahead with her to carry out an appeal, which is like 300 pages long.
Yeah. And
then that gets knocked back as well when the same penalty stands.
So, boom, your livelihood's cut off.
Yeah.
You've just pulled your license.
Yeah.
You've got a family, you got young kids.
Yeah, I've got 3 kids.
3 kids.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you can't earn money.
Yeah.
And now you've got to go into a legal position where you've got to defend yourself to prove prove your position to hopefully get back your license.
Yeah.
So you continue. So now you're.
So I'm trying to get a temporary reinstatement, which is, could be 6 months, could be 12 months. And so everything could go back to normal for that period, but I couldn't sign an 18-month contract, for example, because that would be
all the uncertainty that goes with.
That's right. So I have to be completely upfront with whoever I'm signing contract with too. I have to say this has happened, and most of the architects and clients I've spoken to, I've disclosed this to, and they've all still been keen to work with me, which is great. However,
good sign.
However, it just means that I'm in a real standstill. So my carpenter, who's absolutely incredible, has been generous to take out home warranty, and
so he's helping to keep
he's kept things alive with what we had on.
Yeah.
And then any future work, so I'm picking up stuff that's smaller than like $5,000.
Right.
So I don't need to carry a license to carry it out, for example.
Wow.
Which is stressful. Like going from 500,000 plus jobs to try and just find dinky little handyman jobs to keep afloat.
Wow.
Is tricky.
It's stressful, man.
Yeah, it's been really stressful.
No doubt. Lost a lot of sleep.
Yeah, it's been really hard, but I don't know whether I don't necessarily consider myself optimistic. There are like silver linings, and there are good things that happen from this.
Yeah.
It's definitely made me sharper, and definitely taught me to firstly value myself. Sure. and my job and what I'm capable of as a builder and as a person, and also not to trust anyone, be really careful who I trust and who to show my cards to. And
sure.
My wife's been incredible as well, because she's been in the whole mix of it, because it's tampered with her work.
Friendships and relationships falling apart. And work
so her work has completely turned against her as well. So that's
brutal.
made it really hard.
Oh my God. See, this is the stuff that people don't understand about the life that builders have. Running a building business is incredibly complicated. And so many guys, and you admit yourself, you're young, you're just trying to get momentum going, trying to help people out. And then, things can fall apart so quickly. Man, I feel for you, dude.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it hasn't been easy, but I think it's good to talk about it. I think I think there's definitely a lot of shame that comes with, I guess, making silly mistakes. Sure. And because everyone wants to build a product and build a business that they're proud of. Sure. So to hang in, to share the shame of losing a business and losing essentially your livelihood is I can completely understand why people don't want to show it, but on the contrary, I'm like, what an opportunity this is to share with people the realities of building, one, and two, we're not bulletproof. We're completely, I'm at the mercy of the building commission. I'm at the mercy of clients sometimes. So that's just a reality. We're not in control of our destiny, and as much as people think they are, they're not. So I think I'm a true believer in things happening for a reason, and so instead of panicking and just leaving the industry and flying and selling everything and flying to Bali or something and living there, I need to front up.
That doesn't sound that bad.
It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah, but that's the thing, is that it's easy to run away from your problems, whereas, and it sounds cliche, like meeting it head on and being accountable for your actions goes so far. Turnberry Builds still isn't dead. We're still going, whether we rebrand or pivot in some way, shape or form into doing developments or something, but I believe that this will shape our culture.
Awesome.
And this will make us stand out to the right clients in the future, and it will state that, okay, these guys aren't soft, they've been through it, and we're here for the long haul. And you know, our work is an exemplary, so we definitely don't lack quality, but we also don't lack integrity.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You summed that up so well. And that's the message that, you know, we want to get across. This is an example of what integrity in business is, and an example of how vulnerable builders are. At the essence of it all though, builders care. They're good people. They care immensely about what they're doing for the client, and mate, it's really evident, super evident in the way you're expressing that. So thanks heaps for being honest about all that, mate.
No, it's my pleasure.
Tough story to hear, but
yeah,
really impressive the way you're handling it.
Thanks, yeah.
Sounds pretty stressful at times.
Yeah, look, it is, but I've also had really great support. My wife's been incredible. So generally, you know, we both, because we're both in it together in terms of it's affected both of our lives in different ways. Sometimes I'm doing well mentally and she's not doing so well, so I can be a real anchor for her and vice versa, you know. Like lessons like this are probably inevitable in different forms.
Sure.
And this is just, I've just been dealt a really tough hand. But I'm going to come out the other end for sure. So
yes, mate, it sounds tough, but like I said, it's incredibly impressive the way you are looking for the silver lining. I know it's probably not always, you've had your ups and downs through the journey with it, but the fact that you're reaching that point. But the other thing I really want to highlight is the value in being open and honest and talking and sharing, because I know the industry's tough and mental health is a big deal in the building industry. So anybody else that's out there that's struggling, these scenarios are faced by all of us. Reach out, talk, there's groups, find support. Call Pricey Plan, even if I don't know you. You want to chat? I've heard a lot of stories. So.
Yeah, good on you, mate.
Yeah. Well, thanks heaps, Nat.
Yeah.
Really awesome. Just let's walk me around. I want to see some of these little architectural details that you've pulled off here. So let's go and take a look.
Yeah, sure thing.
Well, thank you so much, Nat, for being open and sharing your story. Pretty powerful and quite emotional too, to be honest. It just sort of goes to show that, you know, the life of a builder is not always roses. There's always going to be ups and downs. But I think Nat really highlighted that the value in yourself and maintaining your own integrity through those challenges is the priority. I really, really respect Nat for being so open and honest and talking that through. It also highlights that if there's anyone else there that's going through struggles with their building journey, reaching out to someone, talking to someone, being honest about it is really the most effective way to get through. But it's time to head home. It's time to wrap it up. I've been away for nearly 4 weeks now, and I'm looking forward to getting home. So thanks so much. We'll see you next time.